But you are a, this is,
clinical.
You are a clinical
hypnotist.
Explain what that is.
So basically when, in the US, hypnosis kind of comes from that entertainment type scenario on stage, fears, that type of thing. But in the UK, a lot of doctors use hypnosis. So there's a big push for hypnobirthing, for relaxation, anxiety. In fact, in some schools in the UK, they teach hypnosis to their students to help them relax, to feel better, to give them self-motivation. A lot of your, for you guys in particular, there'll be a lot of kind of internal monologue going on. And
you guys as in us?
As in everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
The point being that you can choose to whether that's going to be positive or negative. Whether you're going to talk to yourself positively, you're going to talk to yourself negatively. And the problem is if you talk to yourself negatively, you're never going to succeed, right? If you don't think you can run 10 miles, you're not going to run 10 miles. If you don't think that you can, win, you're not going to win. So it's a lot about reprogramming that subconscious to make sure that you can think you can achieve. So your barriers are then lifted and you can move forward. There's a lot of people fail because they don't believe in themselves, and that's a lot of what we do is reprogram that subconscious. So if you've experienced a trauma or a bad childhood or whatever, you're maybe conditioned to think that you're not good enough, or you're overweight, or you're not good looking enough, or some assimilation of that. But the point is that when you believe in yourself, that's the first step to anything, right? If you think you can do it, you just got to convince everybody else you can do it.
So hypnotism, you kind of strip down those feelings and build them back up in a...
Absolutely. So typically everybody's first session with me is, most people come into me with symptoms, right? So they say, I'm overweight, I drink too much. The point being that lots of those things are symptoms to what's going on. Like I deal with weight loss in particular. So if you're more than, say, 30 pounds overweight, then the chances are you don't have an issue with food. You have an issue with emotion, and you're using food to help with that negative emotion.
Right.
So what we tend to identify in that first session is, why do you not like yourself? And one of the things that tends to happen is people will look back on pictures of themselves and say, when I was there back then, I thought I was overweight. But now, I wish I was that weight back then. So typically it's a mentality that's always been with them, whether it's from their parents or grandparents or even the way that they've been brought up. And one of the things I've learned about living in the South is that everything is surrounded by food. And every happy occasion has food connected to it. Nobody's coming to me and saying, I'm just eating too much grilled salmon, there's too much broccoli in my diet.
Right.
It's always fried chicken, mashed potato, mac and cheese, all these carb-heavy, sweet-heavy things. Now, the reason for that is not because, well, don't get me wrong, macaroni and cheese and fried chicken is good, but the issue is that it's very firmly tied to happiness. So when you're not feeling good or you're having a bad day, you want macaroni and cheese, or you want fried chicken, or you want something bad for you. The people so if we use weight as an example, I have never known people more knowledgeable about food and exercise than people who are overweight, right? People who struggle with their diet know everything about food. People will come in and tell me I've tried this and that, and I only drink soup, and I only eat this, and I only, they know everything about it. The issue is they can't stick to it. They stick to it for 2 weeks, they stick to it for a day, they stick to it for 48 hours. They can't stick to a diet, they can't stick to an exercise plan. And that's nothing to do with food. That's nothing to do with how good fried chicken smells. Again, it smells awesome. But that's nothing to do with how good fried chicken smells. That's to do with your internal patterning and your internal subconscious saying, I'm not very happy, I want to eat fried chicken. The problem is, when you eat that fried chicken, you put on more weight, so therefore you're more unhappy, so therefore you want more fried chicken, and so it continues. So most people are educated.
This goes to what you were saying, that they're educated already. So a lot of times you said you're not the first resort.
I'm not.
They tried therapy, or they tried diets,
absolutely.
Absolutely. It's not all obese clients, I know.
No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely not. But focusing on the past is not going to help you get to the future. And that's really we're like the next step, where we really want you to see what I call the ideal you. Who do you really want to be? What is your goal? And what's standing in your way of getting there? And typically, it's these redundant patterns from the past. Typically, it's stuff that it doesn't really matter anymore. It's not, just because your mom said something nasty to you in 5th grade does not mean that you are not a great tap dancer now, whatever, you know.
Right.
It's,
I can't be a tap dancer.
Exactly.
I can do it.
You'll never be a tap dancer, man.
I said I can.
Exactly. But it is. But these things stick with us. I mean, these things are imprints in our subconscious, and because as children we're very suggestible, that lasts a lot with us a lifetime. Like people, you know,
You took hypnosis as a child, right?
I
Your
did, yeah.
backstory?
So
Can you tell that story real quick?
Yeah. This is. I'm looking for some awes here. So when I was younger, I had cancer.
You're hypnotized.
It makes me feel better. But this is like 30 plus years ago. So this is like back in the archaic days of chemotherapy. Basically, you go in, they make you feel like crap, and then you come back out again. And certainly as a child, that's my understanding of what's going on. So all I'm doing is relating feeling terribly to needles. That's it. Feeling terribly to needles. That's as a child's understanding. That's all I understand about it. So phobias tend to compound on each other. So every time I had to go in for a blood test, a thumb prick, whatever it would be,
You got more and more.
you just get more and more. So by the time I'm 18, I'm playing rugby, I'll stand up to anybody, I'm not scared of anything. When I'm in a doctor's surgery, I'm having full-blown panic attacks. I mean, I'm crying like a little baby. Like I'm full-blown panic attacks, knowing consciously that, you know, it's just a little prick, you know. But
The
subconsciously, it's terrifying me. So at the time, my doctor was a hypnotist as well, and he ended up giving me hypnosis and cured my phobia, and I was hooked. I thought this is the best thing in the world, and ever since then I've maintained an interest, and I had a small practice back in Edinburgh, and then I moved over here, and I've been in Nashville for the last 4 or 5 years. So everybody goes in and out of that hypnotic zone multiple times a day. And it's actually called the hypnagogic zone, okay? So what happens is your brain waves go from alpha down to delta. So when you're really, really relaxed, you go into delta, but they go through alpha, beta, delta. And most people, when they're waking, will go into beta waves. So their brain waves will kind of spread out a little bit, they'll be a little less slow, and they'll be relaxed. And one of the times that this happens in particular is when people are driving. Not in Nashville traffic, because that's just terrible, but if you're on a highway and you're going a long distance, then what tends to happen is, you get very into a kind of subconscious suggestible zone. And everybody's kind of had that experience before where they've maybe driven past their exit and didn't realize they did, or you're driving. Now, it's not to say that if somebody jumped out in front of you, as long as you're not on your phone, then you're not going to put on the brakes, but you are in that very suggestible, relaxed zone. The more suggestible you are, the more you're actually going to be able to focus on your future, right? So, I mean, for example, you're very, very suggestible.
I'm worried about it.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. And these young ladies, very suggestible as well. A few people in the back, very, very suggestible. Typically, we do that. That type of hypnosis is done over a 10, 15-minute period. But I know we're all crushed on time. But you all kind of had that movement, and that's the thing that you need to remember is suggest to yourself the good stuff. Focus on that positivity. You are who you want to be, and you are who you focus on. If you focus on not being somebody, that's exactly who you're going to be. If you're focused on not wanting to put on weight, you're going to put on weight. If you focus on, I really want to quit smoking, all you're going to hear is smoking. Remember and focus on the positive. Don't focus on the negative. Even if it's in, I don't want to be that, all your subconscious hears is what's going on, and that kind of base instruction.